Hey there, welcome back to Embracing Stories, where we share tales that warm your heart and remind you of life's little joys. Today, we're stepping into the White House not for politics, but for something way cozier. A story about President Joe Biden, a beautiful cat named Willow, and a love for felines that's as big as his grin. So grab a cup of something warm, maybe cuddle your own pet. And let's dive into the story of President Joe Biden and his beautiful cat. Here we go. This is Joe Biden, 78, when he took office in 2021. Guy known for his big heart, his aviators, and a knack for connecting with people. But there's another side to Joe that doesn't he always make the headlines. He's a total animal lover. Dogs, sure, he's had his German Shepherds, Champ and Major, and later Commander. But cats? Oh, Joe's got a soft spot for them too. And at the center of this story is Willow, a stunning grand white tabby who stole his heart and made history as the White House, its first feline resident in over a decade. Willow's story starts back in 2020. During Joe's presidential campaign, she's mid-speech talking education, hope, the usual, when this little gray kitten with big green eyes hops right onto the stage. The crowd laughs, Jill pauses, and the kitten just sits there, bold as you please. Jill later said it was love at first sight. The farm owner Rick Tellish saw the spark and knew this cat belonged with the Bidens. Jill named her Willow after her hometown of Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. But moving into the White House, that took some time. See, the Bidens already had two big dogs, Major and Champ, and Major, bless him, wasn't exactly cat-friendly. He'd had a couple of biting incidents, so the family held off, letting Willow stay with a foster friend until things settled. Finally, in January 2022, Willow arrived at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, crate in tow, ready to rule the roost. Joe chuckled when asked if it was his idea. No, he said, but it's easy. Easy, maybe. Adorable, definitely. Willow's no ordinary cat. She has a 2-year-old tabby with a coat like a stormy sky and eyes that could melt ice. The White House staff went all out, favorite toys, treats, plenty of space to explore. She's been spotted lounging in the cross hall, napping on the Oval Office desk, even tagging along to the Bidens' beach house in Rehoboth, Delaware. Joe said she's got no limits in the middle of the night. She'll climb right onto his head, purring like a motor. For a guy who's spent decades in politics, that's got to be the sweetest kind of chaos. But Joe's love for cats isn't just about Willow. It goes way back. Growing up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Joe was the kind of kid who'd stop to pet every stray on the block. His family didn't have a famous cat on record, but you can bet there were some furry friends in his life. Later, as a senator and vice president, he and Jill had a cat named Daisy years ago, long gone now, but a quiet part of their story. Joe's always had a thing for animals, dogs, cats, whatever. They ground him, he says, in a world that's always spinning. When Joe and Jill moved into the White House, they brought their dogs Champ, the elder statesman, and Major, the rambunctious rescue. Champ passed in 2021, breaking Joe's heart, and Major had to move out after struggling with White House life. Then came Commander, a puppy gift from Joe's brother. But Willow? She's the wild card. Joe's team says she's settled in like she owns the place, and honestly, she kinda does. Staff adore her, sneaking her treats, and Joe's been caught giving her presidential scritches behind the ears. Joe's not the first president to fall for a feline. Abraham Lincoln, total cat guy. He had Tabby and Dixie fed them from the table, drove his wife nuts. He once said Dixie was smarter than his whole cabinet. Then there's Socks, the Clintons' black and white star, and India, George W. Bush's shadowy kitty. But Joe and Willow? They're bringing that tradition back after a pet-free Trump era. Jill had promised a cat during the campaign. I love having animals around. She said on Joe backed her up, ready to make the White House a home again. Willow's got a VIP life. She's got the run of the White House grand staircases, historic rooms, the works. Jill wrote a kid's book about her, Willow the White House Cat, painting her as this curious explorer meeting florists, chefs, and of course the president. Joe's favorite spot for her? Right by his side in the Oval Office. She sprawl across his papers, tail flicking while he works. Why, he keeps me company, he said. And when Jill reads to kids on the South Lawn, Willow's there, too, watching, judging, probably plotting her next nap. But it's more than just cute moments. For Joe, Willow's a piece of calm in a stormy job. He's talked about how pets dogs cats keep him human. After losing Champ, he needed that. Willow's not just a cat. She's a companion. Jill says she's brought joy to a house that's seen its share of stress. There's this one photo Joe and Jill under the covers, Willow curled up between them. Simple, real, and says everything about how much they love her. Joe takes care of Willow like she's family, because she is. He's not out there bragging about it, but you can tell. The way he talks about her climbing on his head, the little smiles when she's around, it's pure. Joe's the kind of guy who'd stop for any cat anywhere.
Ow.
On the campaign trail, he'd joke about adopting every stray he met. If I weren't so busy, he'd say, I'd have a whole zoo. With Willow, he's got his piece of that dream. As of today, April 7th, 2025, Willow's still the queen of the White House. Joe's term is winding down. But she's got no plans to retire. She travels with them to Delaware, to Camp David, always in her crate, always ready for the next adventure. Jill's book keeps her legacy alive, and Joe, he's just happy to have her purring by his side. It's a small story in a big life. But it's one that shows who he really is, a guy who loves deeply, even the smallest souls. So that's the story of Joe Biden and his beautiful Kate, a tale of love, whiskers, and a bond that softens the edges of power. It's a reminder that even in the grandest places, it's the little things like a cat's purr that matter most. Got a pet story of your own? Share it below. I'd love to hear it. Maybe you've got a Willow in your life too. Thanks for watching Embracing Stories.